Hello, and thank you for listening to the Morris October Rant series. And today I wanted to make a different part of my navigating social skills rant, where I've done two parts already. But now, since it's in 2024, I have to make navigating social skills in 2024, which will be an ongoing rant where it's the same thing, it's just in different parts. So if I make another one, it'll be part two because I already did 2023, so now it's 2024. So I wanted to make, a rant about navigating social skills in 2024 now. And, one of the things that I've noticed recently with people is they like to talk as if they have everything figured out. Like they talk like they know everything. If you're talking about say an issue that you had with Amazon where they wouldn't give you a refund for something you returned or whatever it is, they delivered to the wrong house. You'll have someone chime in who's never even ordered anything from Amazon, doesn't know anything about how Amazon works, trying to tell you the situation and what you did wrong or how Amazon operates, when they have absolutely no fucking idea on how Amazon operates, but they think they understand to the point where they're trying to give you advice, which one, you don't need, and two, they're absolutely 1,000% incorrect. And, this family can do this. I know my mom likes to chime in sometimes and give me her opinion, which is completely 100% wrong, when she doesn't know what she's talking about. People online like to do it. They like to give their 2 cents on topics that, they don't really understand. And they think they understand it, but, everyone's a know-it-all. Everyone thinks they fucking know everything. It's so fucking annoying. They read something on the internet and then they think they're a fucking expert. Everyone on the internet is a fucking expert, They read IMDb and think that they know shit about movies, like they're a fucking movie director, or they read WebMD and they think that they're a fucking doctor. I never assume that I know shit about something I don't know about. I'm not a fucking doctor, so I'm not going to pretend that I am a doctor. And just talking to people, they think they know everything, and they fucking don't. Obviously, some people are very well educated in certain areas, but would you walk up and ask a doctor for fucking lawyer advice? You'd see a fucking attorney for that shit, You wouldn't ask a fucking mechanic about fucking cooking food or whatever. Like a chef would know that, I wouldn't go up to a fucking pilot on a plane and tell them how they need to fly the plane, because I'm not a fucking pilot. I've never flown a plane, never want to fly a plane, because I'd crash it. So people just need to know their fucking place and stop talking about shit that they know absolutely nothing about. And it's really fucking annoying when you're in a conversation with somebody and they just think they know everything, but you're always going to have people that are know-it-alls that think they know the world, think they know everything, and think they know every situation that they're in, but they really don't. There's going to be some things in this life that you don't understand, and you don't always have to have something to say. You don't always have to have something to talk about in that situation. Sometimes it's okay to just admit that you don't know anything, I forget who said this, but it was someone who lived thousands of years ago, but it was a saying. It was something about to start to if you want to know, if you want to know something, or if you want to expand your knowledge, the first step is to admit that you know nothing, which is true. If you want to learn things, first you have to acknowledge that you don't know shit about anything in order to learn knowledge about something. But, you're always, like I said, you're always going to have people that are know-it-alls who think they know everything. And fuck, especially with cars. I don't know anything about cars. So I'm not going to go around talking about cars, or I know nothing about sports, I'm not going to go up to a fucking head coach of a football team and tell them how how he should play his team, or go up to a mechanic and tell him how to do his job. I have enough humility to understand that I do not know things about this, and I'm not going to try to pretend I do. And a lot of people will pretend they know something because they want to sound intelligent, or they want to, sound like they're more important or more smart than other people, even though they're not, because they have an ego trip. I don't fucking know why they do it, but it's just something really annoying that I've noticed, recently about people, is they're so fucking up their own ass about shit. And, you can't talk to somebody without someone chiming in thinking they know more than they know. And, And sometimes it's just a matter of opinion on something. Like, there's different ways of doing things, like with psychology. And, Dr. Phil talked about that with psychology. He said that psychologists will have a different approach in how they approach, like, medicine and stuff like that. I think psychologists are doctors because he's called Dr. Phil, but some, like, clinical psychologists and therapists and stuff like that, they will, like, prescribe medicine to people. Some are more, like, radical about it and will give it more to people, and some are very careful with what they prescribe and how much they prescribe and stuff like that. And, everyone has a different approach when it comes to that kind of, like, fields, and, sometimes you're talking to someone and it's just a matter of opinion on the knowledge, like everyone has a different way of approaching things. There's probably mechanics that do that. They approach things in a different way. So it's not always about knowledge. It's about how you approach it and what you do, because there's different ways to do different things. But, sometimes you can argue about that, like if I'm like, I know a lot about video games. So if I'm playing a video game that I know a lot about and someone else knows a lot about the video game, and maybe they like to play the game differently than I like to play the game, because there's different ways to play a video game, and we're arguing about different ways to play it, even though we both know a lot about the game. Like, people are always going to have arguments about that stuff. But, I'm just really tired of people in general, like people just, and I've already talked about, the whole, people like to assuming that I'm generalizing if I bring up the fact about something. If I say that, like, I went into the store and, like, everyone was mean to me, or this, like, if I include, like, humanity, they tell me to stop generalizing people. Well, if you're going to make a point, you kind of have to generalize, You're not literally saying everyone in the fucking store was rude because you didn't talk to every single person in the store. People know what you mean when you say that, but people love to, like, point out the fact that you're generalizing. You need to stop generalizing and you need to stop making assumptions. But, sometimes you have to generalize to make a fucking point, And I guess it's a little bit of an over-exaggeration. I understand that. Sometimes, in every joke, there needs exaggeration, Sometimes when you, like, talk, you're like, like when you say, like, your parents will kill you if you do something, like, they're not actually going to fucking kill you. It's just a saying. And sometimes you just say shit and you what the fucking person means. You don't actually mean your parents are going to fucking kill you. It's just a saying, and people just love to assume you mean, like, you're generalizing. Like, if I talk about my experiences with women and I say all the women I've dated are, like, cheaters, and, they're like, oh, not all women cheat, or whatever they say, stop generalizing all women, or, like, all because you're talking about your past and stuff like that. And, social skills with people suck, and they just love to assume you're generalizing when you're not generalizing. You're just talking about your experiences, but, people aren't always going to agree with you, and sometimes people are just going to fucking say that just because they can say that, even though they're not mad, But I really don't know if there's actual, like, not actual, I'm so stupid, actually a response to that, No, actual is right, because if there's an actual response, that was correct. But, like, I don't know if there's an actual response to your generalizing, because then you tell them you're not generalizing, that you're just talking about your experiences, which obviously you're going to feel like you're generalizing because you're talking about what you went through. And just because you're talking about what you went through, it doesn't mean that you think all people are that way. But, like, even if you say you're not generalizing, they like to assume anyway that you are generalizing, even though you're not generalizing. So it's really hard to keep up with them because they're not going to fucking believe you because they think you are. So what's the point of even continuing that conversation? They're going to think you're still generalizing, even though you're not. But, and then, like, arguments will happen, and that's just how fights start. And it's just not a good way to talk, and it's just not a good way to enter a conversation, and it's just bad energy. You don't need that kind of energy in a conversation. So it's just important to not get dragged into these kind of arguments with people, because nothing good's going to come out of it. I used to be accused of generalizing all the time, and I tried to defend myself, and nothing really good came out of the situation because they still thought I was generalizing, or they thought that I was lying or whatever. So me explaining myself and me defending myself at that point didn't really mean anything to them. And, if someone thinks I'm generalizing, good for them. I know I'm not generalizing, but if they want to think I'm generalizing, then I'm probably not going to talk to them much longer, or I'm going to bring up a different topic because it's fucking pointless, I'm not going to try to sit there and try to convince someone of my own actions and my own behavior. I have nothing to prove to anybody. I'm living my life. And, it's come to the point now with communication and social skills. If I'm talking to someone and they don't I think I've said this before. I've made so many fucking episodes that I don't even remember what I say half the time. But, it's come to the point now in my social life where if I'm talking to somebody and I don't like what they're saying and I don't agree with them, that's fine. I'm not just going to not talk to someone because I don't agree. But, I'm going to change the topic. And if it comes to the point where we disagree about absolutely everything, I'm probably not going to talk to them anymore. But, they don't have to talk to me either. If they think I'm a generalizing piece of shit or whatever, or I'm an asshole because I generalize, then, they don't have to talk to me. You don't have to talk to people in this world. You don't have, no one's obligated to have a conversation with you, But I'm going to end this episode. Thank you for listening. Have a good one, guys. I'll make more soon.